first. So writing task 2 is the last part of the written component of your exam. So listening is the first test, followed by the reading exam, and writing comes last. So the main reason why we consider writing to be the most difficult is because the fact that you have to generate ideas related to the topic, which you may or may not have some inputs about. So that could be the most challenging aspect of the test. So naturally, for both listening and reading, you just have to find answers. You just have to literally put the answers on the answer sheet. You just have to type it. But for writing, you have to generate as much as 250 words for task 2. And we also have another task, which is task 1. That makes it a total of 400 words in an hour. And that is the end of our discussion for today. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. So writing task 2 is different from writing task 1. This Monday, I actually invited GT to come because we will be having our own lecture. Holiday yon. And nobody came. That's why it's just a replay. Kaya replay lang po ang lecture natin last Monday. So for GT, that is as equally important as this. Okay? So for academic, I always include one replay in a week. But for task 2, we have to do this live because we need constant interactions. I know I have some things to discuss that could vary because there are some updates regarding the inputs in this exam. So you can inquire during the discussion. So once again, the difference between attending physical discussion and watching the replay is the fact that you can interact. You can ask questions all together. I don't want you guys just keeping the question to yourself. I want you guys to ask it during the test, during the discussion, so that your classmates would also be able to hear it. Okay? So para ma-share din natin yung information sa inyo. So, the format is, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Haba. No. Question pa lang. Do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Very long words. And this is actually the newest, the youngest format out of the 5. So if you can imagine the questions, instructions in task 2 as siblings, kapatid, ano? Pang-apat si to what extent, tapos may bunso pa sila, ito yun. So very recent lang po ito nagkaroon ng format. To be honest, this question has been in existence for decades. No? When we started this business in 2007, and the first branch began, 2009. The first branch began in 2007. Franchise in 2009. This question has already been existing. And yan. The main question is, how does someone deal with this type of question? Because it was unclear until 2018. Can you imagine? For 9 years, people were mixing, combining, doing experiments of how to deal with this type of question. They were actually mixing the agree-disagree format, which is partly right, an open-ended approach, which is also correct. But it doesn't have its own physical existence, doesn't have its own format. That changed in 2018. 2018, they introduced it. Hey, you know what? It's time for the do you think the advantages of the disadvantages to have its own form. And that is exactly what I will discuss. Everything I've learned since 2018 from that symposium that I attended. 2019, we didn't have one in 2020. 2021, Sir Irvin was our sole delegate in Singapore, the only Filipino in Singapore, for that matter, who attended the workshop conducted by the senior examiner, Victoria Clark. the Vice President of Operation in Southeast Asia. Siya mismo, imagine niya, Vice President ng IELTS sa Asia, ang nakausap ni Sir Irving regarding this. So everything, you don't have to turn back the clock. Let's go back to 2021. No, those are dark times. No, we don't want to go back to those times because, again, pandemic, etc. But everything that we have learned so far, that's what we would like to impart to you. That's what we would like to share. And I hope that you guys could at least pick something up from today's discussion. So, let's set our goals first. Let us first identify our priorities for today's discussion to be familiar with the details of the IELTS writing task 2 subtest. So in particular, I'm seeing these two individuals wearing glasses right here who are our new classmates, okay? And the first time we attended a topic, you actually attended the most difficult topic, which is writing task. So you might get shocked about the culture of how the test itself works, but it's actually a good thing since you will not be thinking prematurely that, hey, you know what, this exam is achievable. You just have to lie down, scroll through my phone throughout the day, just pray. I know I can make it. No, it doesn't work like that. Hindi siya, imagine the drawing of a 5-year-old kid with a house, with grass, with a tree, rainbow, and the sun. It doesn't. The image of writing is a castle where Dracula lives. And then there are, dark clouds, darkness, kadiliman, kasamaan. That's the truth about writing. So it's actually a good thing because you will not have any misconceptions. The first thing you will have an idea about IELTS is, fuck, this shit is hard. That's actually the truth. That's the truth that they're keeping from candidates. They're trying to downplay the difficulty level of the exam. You know what? When I see candidates, kasi we're open for, this examination center is open for everyone, regardless of whether you are our student or not, it's open for everyone. And what I commonly notice is that those people who are not our students, they come here repeatedly. Like 2 to 3 times sila makikita. That's because the difference between you and them is that you prepared. You spent how much? Kano binayad mo? Review? 6.5. Bukas magtataas na kami. For the past, ano ba kami nag-start? Trabaho ko dito, 2017, 16, 2016. 6.5 yung price. Bumaba pa nga, naging 4.5. Putang ina, tumataas bilihan, pababa ng presyo. No? Tapos, nag-retain. First time lang po, in my 8 years of teaching, nagtataas naman ng presyo. But if we're going to take a look at that, your review fee of 6,500 pesos, I'll tell you that it will be worth it. Because imagine, if you're someone who doesn't want to spend a single centavo on training, on preparation, like what those candidates did na hindi namin student or students sa ibang review center, hindi ko sila sinisiraan, pero mamaya may kwento ako dyan. They will be spending another amount for the examination. And another. Then another. And another. My most recent student in Qatar, si Norman, 6 times po siyang nag-take ng exam. Ang 5th niyang take ng exam, nag-decide siya mag-review. Sabi nung friend niya na nasa US, si Ara, niya, may kilala akong coach, taga-Pilipinas, si Kevin. Binigay yung contact. Gusto ko kasi gusto kong tinuturuan yung mga pang ilang take na, pang 5 na, pang 6, yung isa nga pang 20 take. Yan yung gusto kong tinutulungan eh. No? Yung talagang ikahos na. Nauubusan na ng pag-asa. Umasa. Diba? So, if that person only did, again, regardless of who the coach is, pwedeng ako, pwedeng iba, pare-pares ang din naman kami ng training. The fact that if you will prepare your chances of improving your band score stay high. First time test takers who get a band 7 in writing is only 9%. 9%. Sino po mga nagsusugal? Taas naman. Nagsusugal lang minsan, hindi mahilig. Hindi ko nasasabing addict. No? Okay. In gambling, we are betting against odds. We're betting on luck. Sortihan. Ano mo tumama? For example, meron tayong computation about point flip. Meron din tayong mathematical equations sa cards. Actually, they can all be explained with mathematics. And in mathematics, 9% chance. Actually, 9 is my favorite number because I was born on the 9th of March. 1993. 9 is really my favorite. I wouldn't bet my life on number, especially if it's a person of how much I can get the score I want. Bawa, talamin kita dyan. Pag nabuhay ka, milyon ka. Pero yung chance mong mabuhay, 9%. Would you? I wouldn't. Why? 9% is pretty low. We increase the chance, perhaps, baka magkaroon tayo ng usapan. No? Pataasin mo ng konti yan, yung chance. Second time test takers have 54% chance of getting a 7. Can you imagine the distance between those numbers? It's almost 5 to 6 times. What do you think happened? Bakit yung naka-9, una, at naka 54% chance pangalawa, ang layo ng difference? Okay, mga Pilipino, tigas ang ulo. Hanggat di natin nararanasan, hindi natin gagawin. Hanggat di tayo nasusunugan, hindi tayo maglalagay ng mga fire extinguisher. Hanggat di natin nararanasan, hindi natin gagawin. Hindi tayo mismo yung nakaranas, hindi natin feelings. I want you guys to imagine this. It can happen to any single one of us who can get a score lower than 7. I'm not against not getting a 7. 7, I'm fixated with that number. This is something you should strive to achieve when it comes to. In listening, get a 9. In speaking, you can get a 9. In writing, simply, getting a 7 is going to already be a miracle. Trust. How difficult the assessment. Ganun po siya kahirap. So to be familiar with the details of the IELTS subtest, the difference. Between those people who will get a 9% chance versus those who can get a 54% chance. We want to pump the numbers up. We want to improve our chances of getting a 7. That's why you will improve your experience. Like you are actually taking the exam multiple times. You can inflate this number to an even higher degree. So, to know the different types of instructions and how to organize a response. So this will be your goal during your stay here. For your entire IELTS 9er journey. I want this to be one of your goals. To collect all those classes that have writing past 2 only. They are agree, disagree, discuss both views, open-ended, advantage, disadvantage. Ito yun. To what extent, which was last week, I want you to collect those lectures by attending them either physically, like you guys are doing right now, or via Zoom, which those students are doing right now or later today as you watch them. Because each of those different instructions I've mentioned, all 5 of them, they require different approach. So if this is my approach for a discuss both views essay, this is an entirely different story to the approach. Further, do you think the advantages of the disadvantages? So you can only learn those differences when you attend classes. And you will not be gatekeeping any information. I want to sprinkle you with all the information I have. Because you guys are my students. Your success means our success too. So we want you all guys to succeed. Okay? So, to know how to approach each part of the essay will be a specific objective for today's discussion. So there is an approach that do you think the advantages of the disadvantages question. And I want you to fully master it. I want you to have a full mastery of it. That if you encounter this question, which I hope you don't, by the way, since out of the 5, yung bunso, matigas ang ulo, na makulit, napakakulit nito. Napakahirap ng approach. So hopefully, pag ito matapat sa kanilang nila, pag nag-exam. Discuss both views, open-ended. Pray ka na dun sa dalawa niya. Not this one. Because it takes much longer to master. And the bad news is, during the latter half of the year, more do you think the advantages and to what extent questions appear? Based on my experience. Padala sila, magpadulo na ng tao. Mas mahirap ang exam pag latter quarter. Daming gusto mag-exam ng October, November, December. Lalo pag December talaga, dumog kami. Ang open kami ng Saturday, magsa-Sunday pa yan, magma-Monday pa. Based on my experience. Tapos yung speaking yan, usually Thursday pa lang, may speak. Thinking yung iba kasi, baka pumasko na sa akin to ni Lord. Nakote, hindi. Kalahati, magkikita-kita tayo ulit pagkaputo ka after ng bagay. Kita kids, given na yun eh. Pag December ka nag-take, malas. Doon niniwala sa malas, I believe in odds. Pero grabe, pag December, nangangalahati si John. I once had the student, GP, 33 sila dito sa buong klase. 33. Sanay bumalik after. Reading lang yung pumalik. Kasi isang buwan pa lang siyang pumapasok. Kailan yun? August. May isang beses pa, parang 18 of 18, February. Pero pag December, grabe. Kung 20 kayo, madalawa lang lulusot. Ganun. So please, yun na po yung pagpa-December. Kung magdi-December man kayo, mag-review na lang kayo ng December. January ka mag-exam. Totoo yun. January, February, best months. Taking notes. Please, pag pong December. November, pwede. But, ano ba yan? You're at the edge. Tuhulog. Kasi yan, sa dulo. Ang bangin. Pag December, nasa bangin ka na talaga. Katibayan na lang ng buto kung masasurvive mo yung hulog mo. Again, regardless of which month you're planning to take your exam, kung hugutin ko si sir, hugutin ko si ma'am, pag-examin ko ngayon, hugutin ko to, pag-examin ko sila ngayon, mas magaling sila. dahil mas matagal sila nag-review. Yun lang naman yun. Alliance of one. Huh? It's not in the month. Still, who will be taking the exam? Sino pa rin? So yun. Kung gusto mo lang pataasin ang chance mong pumasa, huwag December. Yun lang ang aking hiling. Kung makulit, wala mong magagawa. Kasi, again, people, students, they respect our experience. So even questions like, even our opinions, like, sir, tingin mo ba, handa na ako mag-exam? You know, I will not respond to that. I will never answer that question. Because I reserve the right of choosing when you want to book your test. Up to you. Dahil sasabihin, bahala ka. Ikaw, ang may decision yan. Buhay mo yan. Ikaw nakakaramdam kung handa ka na ba. That's why for mock exams, I want you to be the one to check your scores, like what Akash did yesterday. He was able to remember, I got 4.5, I got 5, and now I'm getting 7.5 and 7. So you have to track your progress and to know, to do some stuff. What will work, what will not work. And I'm telling you guys, there are some steps you have to take for things to work. Number one is attending classes. It's either attending classes live, it's either going to Zoom, attending Zoom live, or watching the replay. Those can work. And those have consistently been working. Kaya nga hanggang ngayon, hindi namin inaalis yung Zoom at saka yung replay. Kasi nga yung estudyante nga sa ibang bansa, estudyante kami ng yung mga anak, mga busy sa buhay, so nakakatulong sa kanila ito. May nag-chat sa akin, sir, hindi mo man ako kilala, kasi nga yung profile picture niya, butterfly, no? Alam niyo yung mga kita natin, na yung mga profile picture, kalahati ng mukha nila, tapos yung kalahati, Leon na. No? So yung mga ganun tayong kita. Ganun yung tsura ng VP niya. Sabi niya, sir, di mo na ako kilala, hindi ako matan kahit minsan sa Zoom, hindi ako matan kahit minsan sa live, pero estudyante mo ako simula pa nung June, lagi po ako nanonood ng replay. Ayun po, ito na po yung score ko, pumasa na po ako. Like ko na po sa Canada in 2 weeks. Diba? Sarap marinig na. Kasi yun, gumagana sa kanila. Kasi hindi ako ganun eh. Hindi ako natututo, nood lang YouTube eh. Pwede, mating ka ng klase. Pwede, mating ka ng Zoom. Hindi kaya ng klase. Diba? Whatever works. So we have options. It's up to you to decide. Alright? So once again, for our new enrollees, welcome. This is the most difficult task in it. If you will have an experience, if you will have a chance to do the listening and reading test, I may say listening is easy. Regardless of whether you prepared or not, can get a 7. Because the national band score of the Philippines says 7 is our average for listening. So achievable ang 7, kahit walang review. Now, reading, our forecast for reading is manageable if you just do all the right techniques. Because if you will be reading the entire thing, you could increase your accuracy getting correct scores, but you will not be able to finish, which is what most candidates suffer from. Mataas man ang accuracy, mataas ang correct points, pero hindi mo nasagutan lahat because you're slow. So there are techniques to help you out, which I did exactly last Thursday. Sir, paano yung kakapasok ko yung last Thursday? Hindi ko na mababalik ang oras. So, mag-alala next month, meron ulit. Okay? So, attendan mo lang siya. So, in writing, opo, no? Pag may nagpa-check sa akin na writing, tapos hindi naka-attend, balik mo yan, attend ka muna, tsaka mo pakita sa akin. Tingnan mo yung difference. So, I don't want you guys to be assessed wrongly. Kasi yung iba, pag binigyan ko, kaya ka, bigyan kita ng score dyan, pero 3. Diba? Eh, nakaka-shatter naman ng confidence. So, you come here on your own volition, tapos marami kang tiniis, marami kang pinagdadaanan sa buhay, tapos makakatanggap ka lang mula sa akin ng You're not good enough. So I don't want you guys suffering the same. No? Hindi maganda kasing feeling yun. May iba na they use those setbacks to fuel themselves to improve, to become better, but not everyone have the same fortitude as them. No, magkakaiba kasi tayo ng paraan paano mag-grow. And that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish here. We want to experience, we want to gather as many experience muna before taking the test. When you are experienced enough, when you know how to deal with all types of questions, that's when you know you are prepared for this. So in this exam, you are given an opinion, which you have to write an essay in response. So there's a topic, and then there's a question. And based on the instruction, you are expected to generate an argumentative written output from it, which is why we call this essay writing. And a formal one for that regard. Formal essay writing. So it's not just any kind of written output. It must be argumentative, factual, and at least formal. So the topics do not require you to be specialistic. So some people are happy about this specialist knowledge. Now, I don't have to be an engineer to answer questions about infrastructure in the Philippines, or I don't have to be a nurse to understand how important comprehensive healthcare system should be in place for a country, because they would help a lot of people. The problem with topics in writing is that they're very broad. It's very vast. It could come from anything. They ask questions about environment, which is, again, any single one of us here could potentially write an essay about. They ask questions about green wave shopping, which a sample I gave last week. So I bet that the faces I'm seeing this week are the same ones I saw last week. So you already know what green wave shopping is. But these two right here, green wave shopping, wave, wave, diba? So green wave shopping is when companies lure, they encourage consumers to buy their products, even though those products are more expensive than the product line, just because they claim they are environmental friendly. Like Starbucks. Ito yung Starbucks, katapat niya si Coffee Bean and Tea. Why do you think so many people flock Starbucks than Coffee Bean? Well, probably because, again, some people would have this argument, social life. Laptop lang sila. No, but the thing is, so many people know that the way how Starbucks claim they outsource their coffee is the most environmentally friendly way ever. And they use material to minimize their carbon footprint. Like tissue. You will be given a tissue paper na brown, which is recycled. Ibigyan ka nila ng straw made from paper. Diba? Because they have this, may nakasulat dun sa painting doon or whatever, nakalagay, plastic straw, they end up in the sea, which get to be eaten by turtles. Diba? Imagine mo, ikaw yun, nakakain ka ng 5 straw, diba? Namatay ka na. Ano? So they have those claims. But if I'm Starbucks, I'm not telling you something na pwede naman akong pagawa ng brown na t-shirt, lagyan ko ng color, which makes the process a bit easier. We don't know whether their claims are true or not, but people patronize those eco-friendly stores now more than ever before. That's green shopping. What about neighbors? They ask questions about neighbors. Why do people from metropolitan area don't know their neighbors? No, okay. We're having a friendly conversation. Why do you think? Diba? You'll be thinking. That's where preparation comes in. Even though the topics could come from anywhere, come from any topic you may deem reasonable or not. Some of the questions may come as a surprise. And we want to minimize the element of surprise. Kasi when you get surprised by something, particularly in an exam, surprise, it increases our anxiety level. And anxiety and a physical manifestation, it makes your hand shake, makes your breathing irregular, it makes your pupil dilate and constrict, which makes it difficult to focus. Diba? Magpapawisan ka kahit ang lamig-lamig. So it adds to the level of difficulty already in place. So we want to limit that. Is there a way for us to make this element of surprise eradicate? May paraan ba tayo para maalis? Okay. Paano mo nasabing meron? Paano kung wala pala? Tango ka ng tango. Wala. Paano nga? Na-joke lang. Bago lang. Tinatakot ako. Bago ko. Hindi na ako babalik din. Joke lang mo, ha? Mag-refund siya. You can remove the element of surprise by making yourself, ano naman, familiar with the past examination. Examination. So, point. Is there a point reading the past examination question? You think it can make something, I can make something out of it? May iling ka, oo nga eh. Ito, oo, ikaw, iling. Pagtatabihin ko kayo sa, there's a point. You know why? What's the point? Questions are recycled. So those questions asked years ago, 7, 8 years ago, we're still the ones to. Seems like we have a cheat sheet. Alam mo na kung ano yung tanong eh. Tama ba? Alam mo na kung ano yung tanong. Alam mo na kung ano yung paghahandaan mo na tanong. Ay, hirap yung kausap. Ano ba yung tanong doon sa isang estudyante? Ay, SES. Ano, Manila tayo. Question daw sa kanya, whether yung mga city people daw ay friendly compared to people from the countryside. Tapos si Norman. Hindi na tanong kay Norman. Speaking lang pala siya. So we have a compilation of the questions, which we call the Orange Book. Yan. Kasi Orange Book ay dati po siyang physical copy, kulay orange po ang pabalat, kaya nga Orange Book. Tawagan mo namin Orange Book kung kulay blue yun, di ba? Pero uno ko pala eh. Oh. So, in this part, pakita din natin sa mga nasa Zoom, baka sabihin niya, pwede kayo na lang, hindi na kaming sama dito. Oh. Ito pa rin po kami, oh. Yan. Sir, hi ka. Okay. So, ito po yung question. Yan, oh. Ito mo natin sa nasa Zoom. So, you have to scroll. Yan po siya. Dami, no? 9 pages sa PDF yan. Total of 146 questions. Hanap tayo ng sample. Diba? And do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Despite more access to education, there are still adults who cannot read and write. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Now, today, good health is essential among people. As the need for good health increases, medical service providers make use of their products to gain profit. Do you believe that medical services should not be run by profit-making companies? Do you think that the disadvantages of private healthcare outweigh the advantages? Yeah. So, yes, you just have to ponder. I'm not requiring you to write an essay to those 146 questions. I'm not implying that. All I'm trying to imply is that if you will read through those 1 to 146 questions, you can identify which questions you have a lot of ideas about and which ones you think you need more learning from. For example, out of the 146 questions, meron doon na 23 na questions na wala ka masyadong idea. Like may green wave shopping doon, may why do neighbors in urban districts don't know their neighbors anymore. So, try mo ngayon magtanong, try mo ngayon magbasa ng articles related to that. So, English-related articles, English intellectual articles like newspapers and magazines. So, newspapers, the opinion section and the news section would be worthwhile. Try to read at least one newspaper article per day. If you don't want to buy a newspaper, since it costs 24 pesos now, plus taxes of 25, 26 ang isa niya, you can check their websites instead. Inquirer, Philippine Star, MSN, Huffington Post, Bloomberg. Yan, pwede nyo po siya check. Not one article per day. Yahoo News, SG, pwede rin. Actually, nakasubscribe nga ako kay sa MSN, sa mga newsletters. So, pinapadala nila ako ng email every week para doon. So, try to read one article per day. News at saka opinion section, ha? Alright. And lastly, sabihin ni ma'am, puro tanong lang pala ibibigay sa amin. Tama sagot? Diba? Tanong lang, sagot na. Diba? Okay. Sa Orange Book po, meron po kaming 5 samples doon. Sa Facebook group, napakadami din nating samples doon. Dito, sa lecture ko, itong PDF po na ito ay ipopost natin as a link later. Replay, yung link ng PDF, yung link ng Orange. Wala pong babayaran additional. Pwede nyo po siya access anytime, anywhere. Okay? So, bakit PDF? Kasi, it's not locked into a particular operating system. So, whether you are using Android or iOS or Windows or Linux, whatever operating device you're using, operating system, sorry, you can access it, but just by clicking. Madaling-madali siyang i-access. So that you can read it, like, travel ka, or higa ka sa kama mo. Kesa, nood nga ako ng mga TikTok. Teka, mag-open nga muna ako ng PDF. Ha? Tapos, maghuhugas ako ng pinggan, tutulungan ko si nanay. Ganun ba, sir? Walis-walis muna ako sa bahay. Tapos, bukas ulit ako ng PDF. Tapos, gawa ko ng assignment. Tapos, next week, nasa yung mga writing nyo? Yung mga writing nyo? Wala, sir. Assignment mo? Wala, ganyan na lang tayo. Relax na relax. So, relax lang kayo. Assignment, stress lang ako dyan, no? Tama ba? Okay. So, there's a prompt that usually is a combination of a statement together with a background statement introducing the topic. The topic now lets you identify which category it falls into. So for you to further understand what the question entails, you can first generalize it into which category it belongs to. For example, neighborhood, urban, city, it's something to do with society. Okay? Environment, yan. So saan category siya? Healthcare, education, environment, saan siyang particular topic na point. So the instruction then tells you how you should approach the topic, and it is very important that you carefully analyze exactly what you are expected to write. Because if you misassess the instruction, or if you misinterpret the background statement, it will yield a totally different essay apart from what the examiner expects you to deliver. Essentially, your task description, your background statement, followed by prompt, followed by instruction, is actually the examiner's order. So if nagpunta ka sa fast food, ka dyan sa McDo, whether drive-thru or nakapila ka sa line sa kiosk, pindot-pindot ka dyan, no? And the customer is the examiner. Sabi niya, okay, chicken, tapos no drink, then may sundae, tsaka large fries, extra instruction, unsalted fries. Dating ka, mali-mali order mo. Hindi sa chicken, chicken nuggets ang binigay sa'yo. Tapos may half fries sa McDo eh. Hindi buo yung kanin, half lang. Tapos yung fries sa'yo na binigay ay hash brown, tapos puro salt. Pagkagat mo, parang puro asin. Binabad ba ito sa asin? Tapos wala yung sundae. Yung pa naman yung pinaka-importante para sa siyempre, ano maramdaman mo? Magagalit ka. Gutom na ako eh. Mali-mali yung nilagay nyo. Pinagpindot-pindot pa ako dyan. Kasi mahilig mga Pilipino kapag bangayan eh, di ba? Konting pagkakamali. Ano? Doon po tayo mahilig ka. Pakikipag aggression. Pagbungguan. No, ano ka? Barbarik na. Masanggi ka lang. Ano ba? Tuwa tayo. Okay? So yun. Examiners would also feel negative towards the delivery of the order. Kulang to ba? Siyempre, hindi ka naman pwedeng talakan. Hindi ka na pwedeng pagalitan. Hindi ka na pwedeng murahin. Ano gagawin nila? Babawi ang kanila sa answers. Kulang to ah. Hindi mo to ginawa. Praise. No, which is something that we are trying to avoid. Natin iwasan. Ganong experience. So for you to complete the task, you have to write 250 words. Part po yan ng instruction. You have to write 250 words. Writing 250 words comply with the overall completion of your task. So the examiner can now determine whether your output is complete or not, based solely on whether or not you achieve this instruction, whether or not you follow the instruction. 250 words. Very clear. That's why if you guys will be asking questions, sir, what is 249? Naturally, 249 word essay is not a 250 word essay. Therefore, there will be a deduction of your point, which is, to be honest, it's going to sting. It's going to hurt your score big time. It's not just going to leave a scratch, di lang gas-gas, bangga, ang nangyayari score. So you're recommended to spend 40 minutes. Sir, I thought the writing test is going to last for an hour. Why are you telling me that this is only going to last for 50 minutes? What's the deal? Actually, yes, this is going to last for an hour. The entire writing test, including your writing task 1. Now, your writing task 1 should be done after you're finished with your task 2. So, sir, you're trying to tell me task 2 first, then task 1. Yes, you're allowed to switch between task 1 and 2 during task. I-click mo siya sa baba, nakalagay yun, 1, 2. Click mo yun, 2, doon ka mo naman sige. Nakuha? Why? Because task 2 carries more weight than task 1. Task 2 is equivalent to 67% of your overall writing grade. And writing task 1 only carries 33%. If we do the math, your task 2 is actually a weighted score of 2. 2 times ang score niya. So imagine, naka-5 ka kay task 1, huwag naman sana. Naka-8 ka kay task 2. Multiply yung 8 sa 2. So 16. 16 versus 5, ano mas malaki? Naturally, yung 16. Na-inflate ng gusto yung score mo because your task score is high to begin with. Now, you add 16 and 5, 21 divided by 3, that is now your writing score. See, because your writing task 2 was high to begin with, and your task 1 was low, your task 2 was still able to compensate for the missing points of task. It pulled the score up. That's why you begin with task 2, you put more importance on task 2, you do writing task 2 first, and finish it before you do task 1. Clear? Okay. So again, part yan ng instruction. So our topic is, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? You are recommended to give and justify opinions here, plus evaluate both advantages and disadvantages. So, in the do you agree or disagree discussion we did July. That is exactly what do you agree or disagree is. Giving justified opinion, evaluating advantages and disadvantages. So your question would be, hey, sir, that is somewhat the same. No? Parehas po sila. Well, the answer is true. They are the same. But the question is not about whether you agree or disagree with a particular idea, because the question clearly is answerable. So anything that begins with a do, that is the verb of emphasis. Tawag natin dyan. Do you eat pork? Do you like swimming? Yes. Do you play computer games? Do you help in household chores? Yes. You're a hypocrite. Anything that has do you, did you, does she is answerable by yes. So this is where we will be putting most of the highlight, specifically when you put your stamp doon sa answer na yes or no. So from there, we can now arrange it the way examiners are expected to. Kasi based on their order, it's not just supposed to be answered. It's supposed to be explained the way it should be arranged as well. So, you will be assessed according to the following criteria. Number 1 is task accomplishment. So in the answer sheet, the physical answer sheet, not the computer-based one, makikita nyo po literally yung assessment criteria sa baba ng papel. And they are denoted by boxes. PR, CC, DLR, GRA. PR means task response, task completion, task accomplishment, task attainment. Kasi sa task 1, TA yun. Sa task 2, PR siya. Wala masyadong pinagkaiba. Just that, si task 1 kasi, look, anong baterya? It's just si task 1 kasi, anong baterya? You have to do it according to the narrative. Kaya siya task attainment. Na-fulfill mo ba siya? Task fulfillment. Pinaggawa ka ng letter, nakapagsulat ka ba ng letter? Ganun lang. Gets niyo ba? Sa task 2, kaya siya TR, task response. Response. Ano bang Tagalog ng response? Sagot. Diba? Sinagot mo ba? Yun yung tanong. Nakasagot ka ba? Yun yung tanong. Dahil kung di ka nakasagot, hindi, diba? Hindi ka nakasagot, hindi bagsak. So that's the difference. You have to respond to the question, literally. Without the response part, kapil lang ako ng bago. Wala nga. Kaya ako dito. Emergency, emergency. So have you discussed all parts of the question as I've mentioned? We don't want to misinterpret, omit, even a minor part of your question. You need to also present relevant ideas, ensuring that your opinion is valid. And in the end, develop a well-supported argument based on this opinion. Take note, 1 out of 5. This is 20% of the Filipino test-taking population submit their writing task under length. So for you to be able to complete it, you are recommended to spend 40 minutes generating between 250 and 320 words. So for pen and paper-based test takers, which is not very common these days, hindi na siya ganun kasikat kasi dati yun lang ang way natin makapag-exam. You literally have to count it word for word, which takes time, I know. Kasi if you count 1 word per second, 250 seconds is equivalent to roughly 3 minutes at least. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eh, sabay-sabay na ka nagbibilang. Diba? So, nalilito ka na. Okay? So, sir, bakit hindi po dapat lumagpas sa 320? What we're trying to minimize here is the occurrence of mistakes. There could possibly be some sentences which you are already in the loop. Ibig sabihin, paligoy-ligoy, kaya siya humahaba na mangyayari mo na to, tapos mangyayari to, tapos ito na yung advantage. So, ang daming pinanggalingan Ang dami niyang source before the main idea is presented, which makes the write-up a bit complicated. So what we're trying to accomplish is to simplify it. Hey, you know what? Advantages outweigh disadvantages? Yes, is my answer. Here's the advantage. If we do this, this is what happens. You give the reason. You explain it. So this is a person. This is the advantage. If the person encounters disadvantage, everyone is happy. Example, in the Philippines, boom, ganun siya. Diretso. No, walang paligoy-ligoy. So, why not exceed 320? Kasi, the more you write, the more likely it is that you will commit either a vocabulary repetition or a grammatical mistake. Ba? Sabi nga nila, wala ka lang sasabihin, sarado mo na lang ibibig mo kaysa magkamali ka pa. So less talk, less mistake. Same with this. Minimize it to 320 so that we do not accumulate as many mistakes. And manage your time. If you're going to write more than 320, most probably baka nag-exceed ka na sa 40-minute mark. You have to remember, you still have another task complete, which is task 1. 20 minutes yun. Hindi rin biro yun because you also have to assess your task 1 properly. Hirap, no? Papasok nyo lang. Ito na agad sumasalubong sa inyo. Example. The threat of nuclear weapons maintains the world peace. Nuclear power provides cheap and clean energy. Do you think that the benefits of nuclear technology far outweigh the disadvantages? This is your background statement. This is your prompt. And this is your instruction, which falls in the advantage versus disadvantage category. Another, people now have the freedom to work and live anywhere in the world due to the development of communication technology and transportation. Do the advantages of this development outweigh the disadvantages? Those are sample questions that we need to ponder. Now, next marking is the coherence and cohesion. Actually, C lang talaga siya. But another C, this is actually intangible, is content that we need to tickle the examiner's imagination during our presentation. So what is coherence? Coherence is the organization of your essay by dividing your ideas into logically arranged paragraphs. So when you talk about coherence, you only have to think of one thing, paragraphing. How many paragraphs? Once again, this falls under the category of opinion type. Out of the 5 instructions in writing, we have 3 that falls under the opinion section. Yung dalawang hindi, si discuss both views at open-ended. Si discuss both views, fixed na 4 ang paragraph. Si open-ended, it varies. Pwedeng 4, pwedeng 5. So, but the 3, do you agree, disagree? Last week, to what extent do you agree, disagree? This week, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? They belong in the opinion category. That is why you have to allot 5 paragraphs in your essay. Again, you cannot write fewer. You cannot write more. This number is fixed. This number is default. Ito lang siya. This is your golden number. 5. Introductory paragraph. Body paragraphs 1, 2, 3. For arguments 1, 2, 3. And the concluding paragraph giving the closing remarks for your essay, giving it a sense of completion. So that is your coherence. Questions? Question po sa coherence. Now, sir, I don't have any question with coherence, but what about cohesion? Cohesion, well, you split your essay into 5 paragraphs, right? Essentially, dividing them into 5 parts. Siyempre, your essay will not be submitted 1 paragraph by 1 paragraph. So it should also matter that those paragraphs must be connected. You have to bridge the gap through what we call cohesive devices. Nagamit ka nga ng method para ma-showcase mo ang cohesion. There's no other way to show cohesion than to use cohesive devices. Mga devices na nagpapakita ng cohesion. Wala nang mas magaling pa kaysa sa kanila. No? So, we have different types of cohesive devices. And one of the most essential would none other than be conjunctions. In conjunctions, we have 2 types. We have the coordinating conjunctions, which you can easily identify by remembering fanboys. Fanboys. Fanboys, they are your for and nor, but, or, yet, so. So, si for and nor, but, or, yet, so. Sama na si especially, followed by, saka si while. Yan po ang lahat si fanboys. The main consideration for fanboys is that we use it to connect words, phrases, and ideas within the sentence. Meaning, it should be seen, it should be placed in the middle of the sentence. And if you write it at the beginning or in the end of the sentence, it will not give you a pleasant result. Okay? Why? Yun nga ang role nila eh. Pagdikitin ang mga salita sa gitna ng pangungusap. Bakit ilalagay mo siya sa umpisa? Bakit ilalagay mo siya sa huli? Hindi na nagampanan yung function niya. Because of that, examiners would give you a low remark, hindi lang sa coherence, cohesion, pati sa vocab, pati pa sa grammar because of misuse of conjunction. O, di ba ang sakit nun? 3 mali sa isang maling paggamit lang ng conjunction. So, sir, I want to begin a sentence with a connector. Kasi conjunction is also called connector. I want to use a connector on paragraph level. Kasi what we're trying to do is we want to bridge the gap. So we want to connect this paragraph to this paragraph to this 3rd paragraph. I want to show their connection with one another. Whether the connection is positive or the connection is opposite. How can I do that if we're not allowed to use coordinating conjunctions? That is why subordinating conjunctions exist. Yeah. Because we can use them at sentence and paragraph level. So halimbawa, this paragraph, okay? Pakita natin to. Sige. Halimbawa lang. So this paragraph, paragraph 1, ng body na to, talks about the advantage of working abroad. Sa paragraph 2, ganoon din, advantage of working abroad. So dahil si paragraph 1 at si paragraph 2 ay may connection. Anong connection na meron sila sa isa't isa? Positibo, negatibo? Patay. Pareho silang advantage. So ano dapat yan? Positive, negative? Positive. So at the beginning of your 2nd paragraph, for it to connect to the previous paragraph to show that there is a relationship between the two, gagamit ka ng subordinating conjunction na nagpapakita ng pangdagdag na itong paragraph na to ay nagdadagdag ng additional na positibong argumento na katuloy sa naunang paragraph kanina sa pamamagitan ng mga salitang moreover, furthermore, in addition, huwag kakalimutan that after every conjunction, there must be a comma. Clear? In addition to that, additionally, to add, pwede din. Now, pupunta ako sa paragraph 3. And paragraph 3 is the disadvantage discussion. So, ang relationship ni paragraph 2 kay paragraph 3 ay negative, di ba? It shows contrast. Kasi from advantage to disadvantage, so you have to show that this paragraph now, paragraph 3, is related to the previous one but in a negative context. Hindi naman sinabing sa advantage at disadvantage lang. Pwede rin kasing nanggaling ka sa disadvantage, pupunta ka sa advantage, negative pa rin ang kanilang relationship. Kasi opposite sila. We want to show contrast. So gagamit ka ng mga salitang in contrast. Ano pa? On the contrary. Huwag niyong pagpapalitin yan. Mamamali kayo sa grammar. Ano pa? On the other hand. However, yung nevertheless, nonetheless, okay din, but medyo mahaba yung spelling niya. Baka makulang ka ng isang S, mawala yung isang E. A misspelled word will also take off points from your grammar. So be careful with spelling. Ha? Okay. Kapag nag-e-essay kayo, dapat talaga meron yan. Kasi nga, yan po ang nagpapakita na may coherence at cohesion ang inyong essay. Dahil pag wala silang nakitang ganyan, wala silang palatandaan na may cohesive device ka. Actually, you can use what we call invisible discourse markers. Like one of the many advantages of, there are many people who believe that. There are certain advantages of using that. And one of it is, but pwede ka rin gumamit ng mga ganun eh. Pero invisible sila. Ang hinahanap natin sa cohesion is how you can show cohesion. How you can show connection na hindi siya halata, na pilit na ipinapasok mo doon. And there's no other better way than doing that than to do it using these cohesive devices. So to ace this criterion, one idea at a time. For example, advantages of working abroad. You can earn money, you can pay for your bills, you can send money to your home country. It's also a wonderful experience. You can gain more. Ang dami pinagsama-sama sa isang paragraph, isa lang. So pag money, money lang ang topic. Pag convenience, convenience lang ang topic. That's what you want to explore. One topic per paragraph. So that you will not be juggling between multiple ideas, which is crazy to control. No? The more control you have on the overall flow of your writing, the better coherence and cohesion you will have. Kasi not many people know the fact that vocab and grammar, we score 6.8 for grammar, 7.1 in vocabulary on a national average. But for task response, it's 5.8. Kasi nga, ang dami nagsusulat ng underlength ng essay, and 5.3 sa cohesion and coherence and cohesion because we don't actually use those devices. May mga estudyante, 2-3 buwan ang pumapasok dito, nagpapacheck ng writing, sasabihin ko, oh, pangatlong buwan mo na dito, nasaan yung mga cohesive devices na tinuro ko? Eh, oo nga pala, no? Amin nakakimukha mo, sasampaling kita. Tawa-tawa ka pa dyan. Okay? So you have to take this seriously. Examiners are actually looking for this. So you have to show them like, hey, this is the discourse marker you're looking for, and I'm using it properly. Na positive, positive. I'm showing additionally, furthermore, moreover. Hindi lang po siya per paragraph ha. Kahit sa loob ng isang paragraph, may dadagdag ka ng explanation, gamit ka ng mga ganon. Pwede po. Despite the fact that there are advantages, there are also drawbacks of using nuclear power. Haba-haba no? Pero ang yaman sa discourse marker. Despite the fact that sa kabila ng mga argumento na nagpapakita ng positibo, meron din itong kaakibat na problema. Diba? Ang sarap basahin sa examiner standpoint. So 3 main areas of difficulty is organizing and structuring. Once again, organizing means proper paragraphing. Structuring means making sure that those paragraphs work in congruence with one another, meaning this is how you should arrange the advantages and disadvantages. This is how you properly do it. Thinking about what to write, once again, you can avoid this difficulty if you will only read at least 1 article per day to enrich your knowledge about the topics that could be asked, potential questions that could get asked in the test. And making my writing flow, to avoid this difficulty, to solve this problem, there's no better way than to use transition signals, your conjunctions, okay? My mom went to the supermarket yesterday to buy groceries. Afterwards, she made sure that the groceries are put in their proper place. So this, afterwards, is a showcase of transition na nag-grocery muna siya. Pagkatapos nun, sinigurado niya na maayos ang paglalagyan ng mga groceries. So that's an example of how those cohesive devices are used. So, how you arrange your essay? 5 paragraphs. You have the introductory paragraph, body paragraphs 1, 2, 3 for the body, and concluding paragraph to complete the anatomy of your essay. Ensuring that there's a connection between these paragraphs. Even conclusion, may ginagamit tayong discourse marker dyan. Ito na siya. In conclusion, to conclude, in general, pwede rin generally, but mas gusto ko itong si in general, tsaka si ito conclude. Yan. Bawal na bawal po ang therefore, I conclude. Dahil hindi naman po ito thesis. So, if you want to continue, ito po yung mga pamimilian for continuity. To show contrast. Although there are many advantages, people should not neglect that there are also problems associated with time expressions. Bawal na daw pong gamitin yung nowadays. Bakit daw po kaya? Kasi sawang-sawa na po yung examiner sa nowadays. There was once a situation in Cebu, 200 test takers, lahat sila gumamit ng nowadays. Isa lang po yung pumasa, nakakuha ng 7. Dahil siya lang yung hindi naglagay ng nowadays sa essay. So, other options sa nowadays, ayan. Mamili na kayo. Halimbawa sila, sabay-sabay sila mag-i-exam. O pre, akin na tong in this present time ha. O sige, akin naman na in this day and age. O sige, akin na yung at present. Mamili na kayo kung anong gagamitin nyo ha. Ayan. Meeting na kayo mamaya. Sabay-sabay kasi syempre siyam yan. Diba? Kailangan iba-iba din. Kasi nagkopyahan na tato mga to. No? Okay. So vocabulary, we have to avoid repetition. We have to avoid redundancy, particularly sa introduction. So what I'm trying to say here is that from your task description, you have to at least paraphrase it, making your introduction genuine, making it look original. Na sa'yo yun, ikaw yun. But if you don't have that much time on your hands, ito po ay para sa mga gusto maka-6, ma-secure yung 6. Pwede kang mag-ulit ng ilang salita from the task description. Especially if you don't have synonyms. Kasi at the end of the day, vocabulary is not the deciding factor whether you will get a high band score or not. But for those of you who are trying to get at least a 6.5 or a 7 in writing, repeating words from the task description will make the examiner think somehow you don't have this deep lexical resource. That's why you're just copying words from the task description. So wala kang originality, wala kang genuineness. Naturally, kung merong isang nagsulat ng genuine and original, tapos ikaw, eh hindi, ba't kita iskura ng mas mataas sa kanya? Nagigets yung point? So, at least 4 to 6 new words is what you want to establish for your introduction versus task description. So kung sabi sa task description, nowadays, sa introduction mo in this day and age, sabi doon, families, sabi mo doon, households. Diba? Sabi mo dyan, sabi sa question, eat at home, nilagay mo sa introduction mo, dine inside their homes. Wala tayong pamalit doon. Others eat in a restaurant. Well, some people consume their meals in different establishments. Napalitan mo yung mga salita. Isa lang ulit mo yung home. Diba? Sa grammar, spelling, capitalization, punctuation. May question before about capitalization. Actually, you're allowed to capitalize words in listening, in reading, but in writing, that's a no-no. No, never, ever use the proper capitalization techniques. Essentially, if we're dealing with nouns, proper nouns, common nouns, they're giving examples in your body. So, you're required to use the proper capitalization. Okay pa? May shift and caps lock naman po tayo. Yes, you also have to put commas. Kasi in grammar, punctuation is part of your grammar. So, sa GT ha, bigyan ko na example. Sa GT letter writing, Dear Sir / Madam, may comma yon. I, ang liit, kung ginamit niya. Sincerely, mali yung spelling. Tapos, nakalimutan lagyan ng comma. Ilan na yung mistake niya? 4. Ilan na lang yung score sa grammar? 6. Dahil ang rule sa grammar, pag naka-4 ka na mistake, 6 na lang ang grade. So we're trying to minimize the error down to a minimum. So kailangan wala talagang mali sa grammar para mataas ang score. Okay po? Gets nyo na ha? Ba't mahirap? Tulad ni sir, yung N niya nilagay sa umpisa, yung I maliit, o doon pa lang, yari ka na. Nakukuha? So those are, ang tawag naman kasi natin doon, they are silly mistakes eh. Mistakes that we don't know we're committing. Di natin alam na, nakascorean pala yun. But in reality, it's going to hurt your score big time if those mistakes will accumulate. Huwag kayong mag-alala kasi from 4 mistakes hanggang 10, yun naman ang parameter ng 6. Ibig sabihin, kung makakasampu ka mistake, 6 pa rin yan. Pag naka-11 ka na, doon ka magiging 5. Kuha? Kulang yung comma. Mali yung tense. Hindi mo alam gamitin yung proper tenses, yung connecting verbs, subject-verb agreement, adjective-adverb usage. Mali yung ginagamit na forms ng adjective. Ang dami. O doon ka na makaka-5. So doon naman sa makaka-4 sa grammar, kung yung grammar of the language, kasi ang grammar ng sentence structure, iba siya sa grammar of the language. So kung naka-apekto na yung grammar mo sa understandability ng sentence. No? Halimbawa, instead of writing that my sister ate the pizza, nilagay mo the pizza ate sister. Ha? Pizza sister. Nagigets niyo yun? May subject ka, may verb ka, may ano ka, pero ang naisip ng examiner, kinakain ng pizza yung kapatid mo, di ba? So, naging problema ngayon yung pagkakaintindi sa sentence. So, kung gano'n na po yung mistake, nakakakuha ng 4. Kakaintindihan po? So, question analysis. Di ako makaalis eh. Ano na, igala ka. Announcement po muna. Breaking news. Very important announcement from Australia regarding student visa. Yan na. Sino-sino po yan? Hindi ka. Makareact ka, kala ko ikaw eh. Sikmuraan kita eh. Recommendation, take your English exam and process your application this 2024 to avoid the cap limit in 2025. Kasi ang ika-cap nila is 270,000 students next year. So kung ngayon nasa halimbawa nasa 230, 40,000 na lang, magka-cap na. Ibig sabihin, you have to take your English exam sooner dahil hindi naman kayo magte-take ng December because you have to also process your visa. Yeah, ayun na ba? Install muna kayo ng Facebook. TikTok. Nag-Reddit ba kayo? Hindi naman. YouTube. Pag Netflix, wala mo na. TV, basagin nyo muna yung TV na. Ha? Ay, sana na. Sana. Oh, di ba? Alright. So determine the topic statement for question analysis. Which category does it fall into on a general sense? The general standpoint, saan to topic na below? Prompt. What is the specific argument behind it? What led to the creation of the question in the process? And what is the actual instruction? Advantage, disadvantage ba to? Agree, disagree ba to? So most of the questions you will see today are advantage, disadvantage. Hence, the topic. Kaya puro ito po ang ipapakita kong question later. So, once again, let's go back to the task description. Nasaan po, ma'am, ang background statement? Ayun, kamo. Ayun po. Oh. Ha? Nasa una. Okay. Background statement. Your BS. What about this? Anong tawag dito? Ma'am. Na laging giniginaw. Ano? Ay, show. Prompt! Woo! Saya-saya. Ang tawag dito, sir. Sa last. Dalawang oras ako magsasalita dito eh. The actual instruction. So again, we have to segregate them para mas maintindihan natin siya. Background statement, prompt, instruction. The actual question. Yun ang anatomy. Oftentimes, baka malito kasi kayo, naghahanap kayo ng isa pang sentence bago mag-question. Sometimes, isa lang yon. So the background statement and prompt oftentimes can be seen as one sentence lang. At mahabang sentence yan minsan. So, you have to think critically for that. Okay? Tulad na to. New technologies have changed the way children spend their free time. That is both the background statement and the prompt. Now, your instruction is the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So, analyze muna tayo. So again hindi pa po tayo nag-iisip, hindi pa tayo nagbe-brainstorm. Sinasegregate lang natin. Nasan dito yung background statement or prompt or end prompt at saka ang actual instruction sa atin. Nasaan? We just want to identify those sections first. Anong susunod? De brainstorm na mag-iisip ka na. Meditate with a pen in your hand. Think of related concepts. Pick out the best ideas. So ito, new technologies have changed the way children spend their free time. So first of all, ang focus ng topic na to is about leisure activities. No? That leisure activities in the past used to be physical activities. Because if we're trying to compare the new and the advantages and the old and the disadvantages or vice versa, you have to kukuha ka ng backup mula sa nakaraan dahil may new So in the past, that new technologies are non-existent virtually. The leisure activities are physical activities. Sports, games, ano mga nilalaro ng bata dati? Barilan, hampasan, no? Sudukan. Ngayon, ano nilalaro ng mga bata? Ganun pa rin, pero sa Nintendo Switch na. Di ba? Sa Roblox na nila ginagawa. Mga suntukan, habulan, yan. So, anong advantage nun? Anong disadvantage nun? So, you have to brainstorm. Okay? General format, ito, sample GT letter ito. Dear sir / madam, may comma. I'm writing this. Ayan. Nakasagad to sa left, ha? Tapos space after each paragraph. Leave a space after each paragraph. So sa computer-based, press ka ng enter, press ka ulit ng enter, may space. Kuha? Wala na pong tab key na pipindutin para mag-indent, ha? Sagad lang po siya sa left. Kaya tinatawag natin din siyang full block format. Ano po yung cutting of words? Sino-shortcut? Halimbawa, yung Philippines, Phils na lang. Or international, ganyan na lang. Bawal po ang shortcuts. Ano ang contraction? Contraction is, pinag-combine mo siya. So yung cannot, ginawa mong can't. Bawal po yan. Kailan lang po pwedeng gumamit ng can't? Pwede po bang gumamit ng can't? Opo. Mga GT sa kanilang informal letter. Pero kung formal, hindi rin po pwedeng gamitin ang can't. Kailangan pa rin pong isulat ang uncontracted version nila. Usually, the tense that you will use is in the present. So, no title, no rewriting of task description, observe margins, especially in ito. Tulad na ito, ha, may space siya dito. May deduction na agad dito. Totoo yan. Dapat dito, nandito yung co, tapos hyphen, workers. Ganun siya. Tapos yung check-in date, tinan nyo yung check-in, malaki yung I. So minus 1 yan sa capitalization. So ganun po ang assessment, ha? Okay. So, in making an introduction, you have to write 2 to 5 sentences at around 30 to 50 words. Do not exceed 50 words since this will become overkill. So in the introductory paragraph, your essay, this is where you introduce the theme, the topic, the general idea of the prompt, and state your side in this part. Whether your stand is in the yes or in the no side. Sir, what is the stand anyway? Again, huh? Stand is your opinion, which you have to justify later on the body. Therefore, it is a very essential part of your essay. So if your answer is yes, this implies that your statement is, I think the advantages outweigh the drawbacks. Or if your answer is no, you can write a sentence that implies no by writing, I do not believe that the benefits compensate for the disadvantages. So see what I did there? Since the question has, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? I changed some words using my own words. Instead of I do not think, I do not believe. Advantages, I replace it with benefits. Outweigh, I change it into compensate. But I didn't change disadvantages so that there is still a link between my statement and the question. So, if your answer is yes, you can combine this Pili ka lang para po mix and match lang po ito. Oh. If your answer is yes, I am in favor of the idea that there are more advantages than drawbacks. May vanishing pen ko. Yeah. I am in favor of the idea that there are more advantages than drawbacks. Pwede ding, I'm in favor of the idea that the benefits outweigh the negative outcomes. Or perhaps I'm in favor of the idea that the positive effects compensate for the disadvantage. So any combination of this on the left plus these on the right implies the yes as your answer. Okay? Questions? What about if your answer is no? Well, in answering no, you can actually do two ways. One, by using I do not believe, I do not support, I do not hold the view, plus there are more advantages than drawbacks. Benefits outweigh the negative outcomes. The positive effects compensate for the disadvantages. Or, makinig mabuti, pwede rin sabihin na there are more disadvantages than advantages. That will also give you a no answer. So instead of saying, I do not believe that there are more advantages than drawbacks, pwede mong alisin yung not na I believe that there are more drawbacks than advantages. Okay, gets mo yung point? That is how you imply the negative. So ang daming paraan para maglagay ng no na stand ha. Total of 12 combinations. Dito naman kay yes, a total of 9 combinations. Madai. Nakita na po paano gumawa ng stand kung no ang sagot. So what are the synonyms of advantages? You have merit, merits, benefits, positive outcome, positive outcomes. Para naman sa disadvantages, downsides, limitations, drawbacks. So, if your answer is yes, definitely you need to defend your side by giving positive arguments on the side you adhered and giving negative arguments on the side you disagreed from. So how are we going to do this? Well, this is how you arrange the yes paragraphing. How many paragraphs for the body? 3 paragraphs. If your answer is yes, then you must dedicate 2 paragraphs for the positive and 1 paragraph for the negative. This means that your essay will contain more advantages than disadvantages. Anong arrangement niyan? So for yes, you can do it this way. Blah, blah, blah. I believe that there are more benefits than disadvantages. So you have to tell the truth. You have to fulfill your promise. Mas marami talaga na outweigh talaga ng positibo kasi dalawa ang positive, isa ang negative. Tama ho ba? Yan. And then, conclusion, summary plus conditional. Pwede rin ganito. Mauna muna po si negative. Tapos, on the other hand, positive. Furthermore, positive. Nakuha? Okay. So, yun po ang arrangement ni yes. If your answer is no, we dedicate 3 paragraphs for the body. Dahil, again, dito if yes, if no, 2 paragraphs for negative, 1 paragraph for the positive. So, ganito naman ang magiging arrangement niyan. Negative argument. Furthermore, negative argument. On the other hand, there's also a positive argument. The benefits of the topic, which is ito. Pwede rin pong ganito. Positive muna, followed by 2 negatives. So for the yes one, bakit po bawal gumitna si negative? Bakit negative muna, then positive, positive, or positive, positive, then negative? Bakit hindi siya pwedeng ilagay sa paragraph 2? Kasi this is your conditional. This is the conditional state. Ito yung condition, ito yung saliwa, no? Ito yung na-outweigh. So, we're trying to group ideas which have close or similar arguments to one another. Si positive, positive siya yung magkapareha sa idea, dapat lang po silang makitang magkasama. So, kaya naman yun ay bawal. Nakikita po yan ha. Ito po ang proper. Ito pa yung isang way. It's either the 2 positive paragraphs first, followed by the negative one, or you can begin with the negative paragraph, then proceed to the positive ones afterwards. Sa no, ganun din. Bawal pong maigitna yung positive argument sa paragraph 2. Dapat negative, negative, positive, or positive muna, then followed by 2 negatives. Remember, there are 2 sides, one of which you need to support. Support stand with sufficient evidence, refute the other side. It is not correct to write it depends. It is always wrong. Sometimes you have to choose between 2 things from your mind or from your heart. You have to remember that you are being assessed. So oftentimes you have to go against your will to write a much better overall paragraph for it. So the time on my watch is already 10:51. We will be having a quick break. I-remind ko ulit kayo dun sa mga na-discuss natin bago tayo bumalik.